and formed the human being, obviously it would make sense that the source of the physical side will correspond with the providers of the physical side of who we are. Now, let me ask you a question. What is the job of the human being? What's our job? Are we supposed to stay the way we are? Are we supposed to grow? In fact, we're born with a lot of potential. Tremendous potential. But our job is to take ourselves and become something greater. Now, that's interesting. Does an animal have that challenge? An animal? Does your dog ever have to become more than just a dog? Does your cow ever have to become more than a cow? Right? When I was little, my mother used to say to me, don't eat with your fingers. Bring the food to your mouth, not the mouth to your food. I've never heard anyone say that to their dog. The dog does exactly what they're supposed to do. In fact, they do what they do. In fact, they serve God beautifully. Animals serve God beautifully. There's no resistance. There's no need to be anything but they are. That's interesting, by the way, because the word for an animal in Hebrew is a domesticated animal is a behema, which is an interesting word. Why? Because it means ba-ma. In it is what it is. Ba-ma. In it is what it is. That's all it is. No need to change, no need to grow. But look at the human being. If we flip around these letters a little bit, what do we see? If I were to put the mem before the aleph, what does this letter spell? What does this word spell? Ma? Od. What does od mean in Hebrew? It means more. The job of the human being is to become ma'od, more. The human being is created in potential. But our job is to make ourselves something greater, to refine ourselves, to perfect ourselves, to take the raw material God gave us and to give it back as a completely different creation. That's our job. Not to stand still, but to grow, to become mi'od. Now look how beautifully God expresses this. God created man from what? It's called Adam because he created him from the Adamah. Adamah. What does Adamah mean? Adamah means the earth. Adamah, the earth. Tell me something. What's the difference between the earth on 55th and Lexington and the same earth in some field out in Nebraska or out in Tashkent? What's the difference if you're going to do a chemical analysis of that dirt? Tell me the difference between the dirt on 57th and Lexington and the dirt out somewhere in Kansas. What's the difference between that dirt? It's the exact same thing. So why does the dirt on 57th and Lexington cost you $1 million a square foot? Location. And the land and the dirt out in Kansas or Nebraska cost you maybe, I don't know, $10 a square foot? What's the difference? The difference is what you choose to do with that dirt. If I take dirt and I build a skyscraper on it, or I use the dirt to create a beautiful field, it's worth something. But the dirt has no real value by itself. Its value is what I choose to do with it. Now that's interesting. That's why God created man from the Adamah. Because Adamah is something that exists in potential, and it's up to you to decide what you want to do with it. Now it's very interesting. Look at this. I can vowel these four letters a little differently. And Israelis, watch this very closely. If I vowel it like this, Adameh, what does Adameh mean? Israelis? What? Adamah means earth, ground. What does Adameh mean? Listen carefully. In Hebrew, Adameh means I will be similar. I will resemble. Or I will be domeh. Domeh in Hebrew means similar. I will be domeh to the Aleph. I will resemble Hashem. I can either be dirt or I can resemble God. Right in the same four letters, it has both descriptions. God created man from the Adamah because the human being has free choice. You could choose to be dirt or you could choose to be Adameh, to resemble the Almighty. That's up to you. Do you hear how it works, everybody? Go a little deeper.